What is up, guys? Master Piercy here. I am in Gleason. This is where I was born. This is where I was raised. This is where I grew up, and I love being out here. So if you don't know, I recently rickrolled all the trolls, or probably some of the nice guys on YouTube, and I don't feel one bit bad about it. I don't feel bad about it at all. One of the things I learned growing up was that you have to fight fire with fire. You have to fight people on their level. So if someone's fighting you with words, you got to fight with words. If someone's fighting you with fists, you got to fight with fists. And if someone's trolling you on the internet, well, you don't have to put up with that crap. But maybe sometimes you have to fight back. And I did a little rickroll. So some of you probably got rickrolled, but that's okay. It's no worries, and if you didn't get rickrolled, don't worry. I'm getting to you. I promise. I promise I'm going to get to that. And I got the Kramer hair here. It's pretty crazy. But I'm not cutting my hair until the studio is safe to reopen again. So when that happens, I'm going to cut my hair. Or not. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about was... I wanted to talk to you about how basically you don't have to put up with stuff on the internet. You shouldn't be putting up with stuff on the internet anyway. But if you just link them to Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up, I promise you everything's gonna be okay. You will be fine. And I was gonna, some of those comments they may have had legit concerns about the angle of the elbow or this, that, the other thing. But, and I was going to counter that, some of the guys who say it's fake, by saying, well, what are they going to say? I was going to say, talk about all the stories, but I have so many stories of this helping people in their lives that I don't even know where to start. And I always feel like I leave somebody out. I have people who help themselves with their breathing, help themselves with their flexibility, stop themselves from smashing their face when they fell down the stairs or fell on the sidewalk. I have stories about guys defending themselves against 3 attackers. You know, more than once it's happened. Green belts, yellow belts have done well with 1 attacker and stuff like that. And, but you know, I figured for the people there that are still interested and still watching, I might give you a little story. A story that kind of opened my eyes and hopefully will open your eyes if you can kind of see past it. I was teaching a doctor, and a legitimate, real doctor, and I feel like it's kind of an honor to teach someone with that level of education and that level of presence in society. That's kind of a nice thing. And the doctor said, but this isn't how it's going to go down in real life. And I looked at the doctor and I said, you're a doctor, right? And the doctor said, yeah, I'm a doctor. Owning it like a boss. And yeah, basically they're a doctor. And I said, well, how often do you come across a textbook case exactly the way it is in the textbook? And they looked at me and they said, fair enough. And that was it. It didn't go one sentence beyond that. And then we just continued on with the lesson. So when I'm teaching you something, I'm teaching you textbook case. Of course, you have to be able to adapt it to reality over time. But you start off, well, not reading it out of a textbook in Kung Fu. You start off just doing it. And you get better and better and better. And then change the angle a little bit. And then change the angle a little bit more. And then change the angle a little bit more and apply it in different situations, have to apply more and more and more pressure until it's almost realistic. And you can never get realistic totally because you're always prepared to be prepared. You're always ready to be ready. I don't know if you get that, but when you're in the studio, you know to expect something. So the true test is when you can't expect anything, you don't expect anything. and the self-defense works. And that's what I strive to teach every single one of my students, because that's when I think it counts the most. Not expecting it, boom, oh, you blocked it. And you saved your neck, you saved your face, you got out of it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Also, I want to say, you know, if you live in the city, it's beautiful. And it's not like I want you to necessarily move out here, but you should come out to the country once in a while, because how often you get that? How often you get that in the city? Sometimes, not often, but you get that almost every day out here. It's beautiful, summer, winter. It's inconvenient. It's not as convenient as living in the city and having access to barbers and having access to all of the amenities and all of the wonder of the city. But, you know, there's still something to be said for being out in the middle of nowhere. This town, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like 300 people. We got a water tower that's been standing forever. It's beat down. It's a beat down water tower, but it's still standing. And town's changed a little bit here and there, but it's just such a nice environment. You can go for a walk, people wave, you can see faces you've seen for 20 years. Sometimes that's a great thing. Almost always that's a great thing. Sometimes that's like, oh man, they're gonna remember that time I farted when I was up on stage during the 6th grade. You know, they're just gonna remember everything about you. Kind of like the internet seems to remember everything about you and becomes a community in that way. And yeah, there's, in some ways, you know, you find people that you just can't get along with, but if we're around together, if YouTube stays on for another 20 years, maybe we'll all be friends. And I really hope that we are, and I hope that most of you watching this are my friend, and that we can become friends. And if you don't want to be friends, that's okay. I'll rickroll you, and we can go on with our lives. So have yourself a wonderful day, guys. Check out this sky one last time. Look at that. Look, it's just beautiful. Can't get this anywhere else.